Well, we are here in Mathews, Virginia, in the Tompkins Cottage Museum, and Goober says, let's go on in and visit. Well, we are at the Tompkins County in Mathews, Virginia, a really historic home. And oh my gosh, it's none other than Goober the Traveling Bear, and we are here with Mr. Doug. Mr. Doug, can you tell us a little bit about your wonderful site here?
Well, Tompkins Cottage was built around 1815, and it was used initially as a shipwright's office, and it was then used as a tavern, a law office, a fabric shop, a residence again and again and again, and a tailor shop. And in 1965 approximately, the county bought the building. And the county owns the building, maintains it, and the Historical Society leaves it open for tour guides and visitors. And that's basically it.
Wow, I know there's so much neat stuff in here to see. I don't do ghost things, but I'll get people to ask me, is it haunted?
Is it haunted? Could be. Could be haunted. There's 2 bedrooms upstairs, and a lot of activity probably went on here over a course of 100 and nearly 200 years. But it is it's an interesting place. It's well built. We have a lot of visitors, and they seem to be very, very interested.
Now, you were mentioning these rafters.
Yeah.
Could you point that out to me? So I've got the camera up.
Right here, if you'll see the grooves cut here, that's shipwrights. Because Mathews, up until the end of the Civil War, was one of the major manufacturers of ships.
Okay, so these beams weren't cut by an Amish barn maker.
Oh no, by shipwrights. That's the difference between a shipwright and an Amish farmer. Shipwrights are very well trained people. And they came here because we were full of oak trees. And now we don't have too many oak trees anymore. But it is interesting. Now, in that room, the tiles around the fireplace, there are 3 ships up at the top. Those tiles were made by people who actually were looking at the drawings of those ships. One was a Navy frigate in the middle, and the other 2 were Chesapeake Bay schooners, and that worked the Chesapeake Bay area.
All right. Is there anything in this room you want me to bring forward
Well,
to your...
everything in this room, in the whole building, was donated by people from the county. So everything has somewhat of a historical significance.
Wow.
And you'll notice how, back in the old days, how they used to hang stuff up from the rafters.
And you got a lot of hooks up there.
Oh, we got a lot of hooks.
All right. Well, I'm going to go hit that fireplace.
Come on over here and I'll show you this before you go do that.
All right. And we got Goober the Traveling Bear with us.
Stick your head around this corner.
All right.
And look at the staircase. And then
Here we go, everyone. We're looking
2
at...
bedrooms up there.
Wow.
Very, very steep. Now let me show you something else that you won't see any place except in Mathews.
Okay. We're getting a special tour from Mr. Doug.
Watch your head. Now this portion of the building was built it was a covered shed. And in the 1840s they decided they needed more space. So what they did was put walls up, flooring, and you could tell it was a shed. That goes out into the yard.
Okay.
Now
these planks are wide. Boy, these are what, 12, 18 inches at points.
Now, you see this door?
Yep.
Look up there.
Wow.
This is called a coffin door. And it's a coffin door because if somebody got ill or died upstairs, if this door wasn't here, they couldn't make the turn into the big room. So they had to put this door in so they could bring the person out straight. And there's only, I think there's about 4 houses left in the county that has this. And if you follow me.
All right, we're following you. And we have to watch our head. If you're tall, you got to be careful in
If
here.
you're tall, you had it. Now this room we've dedicated to Sally Tompkins. She was the youngest daughter of Christopher Tompkins, the shipbuilder. And she, at the beginning of the Civil War, she lived in Richmond. And she was very upset with all the wounded, the fact that they didn't seem to make it very well medically. So she went to the Confederate Army headquarters in Richmond to see if she could get money and supplies for a hospital. And they said, no, women do not do that in the Confederacy. They didn't do it in the Union Army either. So she went to a close family friend whose name was Jefferson Davis. And he thought it was a great idea, and he made her a captain of cavalry. That's a picture of her after the Civil War.
Okay. Let me get a little closer.
Okay.
All right.
And that's a picture of her before the Civil War. Right before the Civil War.
Now, how long did she live for?
Oh, she died in around 1915, 1916.
Okay.
Now that picture is her hospital. It was down below her home in Richmond on the river. Now the remarkable thing about her hospital, during the course of the war they had a little over 1,400 patients. She only lost 70 of them, which was phenomenal in those days. So, and they called her the lady with the milk white hands because she was a fanatic about cleanliness. And of course all of her staff was the same way. This dress was hers. This bed was in the hospital. Now the interesting thing about her, she never got married. She was very wealthy. And what she did at the beginning of the Civil War was send a great amount of her wealth to the Bank of England. And when the war ended, she wrote a nice letter to the Bank of England and said, please send me my money and my dividends back. And that's what they did.
Wow. Would you like to show me your next room?
Sure.
I hope I'm not putting you out on this tour.
No, that's not. Now this is a picture of Mathews County. Here's where you are right now.
Where's Mathews Courthouse?
Right here.
Okay.
And as you can tell, we're now the Tompkins family lived in that house,
Okay.
Poplar Grove.
All right. Boy, big mansion.
Oh, and it's still there.
Now, is that a museum now, sir?
No, it's private residence. Now, I'll show you where Poplar Grove is right down here.
All right.
Now, when Christopher Tompkins came to Mathews, he had a wife and 4 children. Well, his wife died right after he got here, so he had to have another wife. So he met and swayed one of the daughters of one of the wealthiest families in the county. That was her. And Sally came from the union between Christopher and her.
Now, let me get a close-up of Christopher for us. All right. And how did he make his money?
Shipbuilding.
Shipbuilding.
And he was also in a syndicate of ship owners out of Norfolk.
Wow.
And they lived in Poplar Grove. Now, this building here, very interesting building. That's about 1,000 yards from this building. It's a grist mill.
Okay.
The grind, it's still there. The grinding stones are still in place, and it got its power at high tide and low tide because there's a run here, and that would turn the wheel, and that would turn the stones, and they would grind up corn and wheat and that type of thing.
And I see now we're at a close-up of the
Yeah.
fireplace you were talking about.
Now the three ships, the potterer actually was able to see the drawings of the three ships and made his from there. The center one is a Navy frigate, and then the other two are a two-master and a one-master sloop that worked Chesapeake Bay. And going down on the sides are the products that were sent out of Mathews. A lot of wood, a lot of fish, a lot of grain, a lot of tobacco.
Well, this has been phenomenal. Would you let my viewers know when you're open and your hours?
We are open on every Saturday and from 10 to 1, and then on special holidays we're open.
Well, very good. And you know what? Goober the Traveling Bear and I are going to join.
Oh, man.
Actually, he's 41 years old.
Well, he's got a little ways to go before he catches up with me.
But we're going to join the Historical Society here. And now that we've moved to Mathews, at least part-time, we'll see what we can do to help increase more tourism. Thank you both very much.
Well, thank
You
you.
got a wave. All right. Stay safe, everyone. Be kind, be courteous, and visit the Tompkins
Tompkins Cottage.
Tompkins Cottage in
Mathews County.
Mathews. Thank you, everyone.